This is Friday, July 12th. There are 5 days until San Diego Comic-Con 2019. Welcome to SDConCast, the official podcast of the San Diego Comic-Con unofficial blog.
VANUHTEE go. Oh my god, I love LiveJournal, and my LiveJournal loves me. Current food is hyperactive, current music, Refuse 73. I love the color scheme, it's pink and purple.
Good evening. I am your host, James Riley, and joining me on the podcast tonight, as always, Carrie Dixon.
Hey guys, thanks so much for joining us.
And our special guest, founder of Her Universe, Ashley Eckstein.
Hey, James. Hey, Carrie. Thank you for having me.
Well, we're really happy to have you on, and so we'll be taking comments and questions throughout the show. If you have any questions for Ashley, you can tweet us at SD_comic_con or use the hashtag SDConCast. We'll also be keeping an eye on the YouTube live chat if you wish to comment there. So let's just get right into it. Carrie, do you want to start us off?
Sure, I can do that. So, Ashley, obviously, you run Her Universe, and that's a huge thing at Comic-Con. This year will be the sixth year of the Her Universe fashion show at Comic-Con. Can you tell us what made you want to start doing the fashion show and how it came about?
It's amazing to hear the sixth year. It's so exciting that originally when we started it, it was my dream to say that people would it would be something that they look forward to, and they would think of Thursday night as fashion show night, and it's a bit surreal to be talking about the sixth year. But the reason I wanted to do it is really because of the fans. Her Universe, we launched in June of 2010 and pretty much went to Comic-Con right away. It was our very first convention. And, ever since then, I've been seeing fans use the hallways of San Diego Comic-Con as their runway. They would wear their own original fashions, not just cosplay, but fashion. And so it was a dream of mine to give fans an actual runway to walk on and show their own original designs and creations. So that's really how the Her Universe fashion show was born. I wanted something at Comic-Con that specifically celebrated the fangirl culture. And I approached San Diego Comic-Con and I asked them, I said, I want to do a geek couture fashion show straight out of Fashion Week, like, something that you would see at New York Fashion Week, but here at Comic-Con. And thankfully they said yes. And they've been incredibly supportive, along with our partner Hot Topic. And this year we have a couple of other great partners. We have Shira and the Princesses of Power, and Cartoon Network, and Box Punch, and Espionage Cosmetics. So we have a great group of people. They're all working on it together.
That's great. Now, last year you added the junior competition that I guess is judged before the convention, and you have the winners show up. Did that come about because you realized how many people were not being able to input because of the age limit, and you had to create something separate? There was no way to integrate them in?
Yeah, absolutely. So, pretty much almost everything we do begins with requests from the fans. We really listen with, I'm constantly on social media, constantly talking to fans at conventions, and I want to know, what do you want? What do you want to see more of? And, in fact, as over the years, I've often something like, what's your secret? How do you know what people want? I'm like, well, it's not really that hard. We just ask. If you ask people, they'll tell you. And so with the junior designers, it came about because, the fashion show, it's 18 and older. And we started getting a bunch of designs and submissions from junior designers under the age of 18, even though they knew they couldn't be considered and they couldn't be picked. And so we saw that this was a regular thing that was happening. And so we actually approached our friends at Cartoon Network, and we kind of pitched the idea to them and asked them if they would partner with us on a junior designer competition. And, thankfully they loved the idea. And so they're back for the second year, and we have 3 winners, and actually new this year we have 3 honorable mentions. We have 6 junior designers that the audience will be meeting next week, and they're so amazingly talented. They're so good. I can't wait for everyone to meet them. I mean, their talent blows me away. So we'll have designers as young as 6, and then we have 24 adult designers. So we'll have quite a busy night.
Yeah, it definitely is a full event. We went last year, and we just had a great time seeing everything. And it felt so. I mean, it did feel. I mean, I've never been to a fashion show, but it felt like that's what it was, and everything seemed to have run really smooth. I mean, how much work goes into this show to get it up and running?
Oh, I say it takes teamwork to make the dream work. That's for sure. We have an incredible team. We started working on the show pretty much in January, and from pretty much WonderCon through Comic-Con, it is just nonstop work. We have a whole team of people that work on it, and I'm so proud of our team because this is the 6th year. So while we try to change it up a little bit every year, we do have a formula and some things that we've seen that how to make it run smoothly. But when we did the show at first, we've never put on a fashion show. It was new to everyone, and we just kind of learned as we go. And some things work, some things don't. So you make those adjustments the following year. But I'm very, very proud of our team, and also the team at the Hyatt. So the show takes place at the Manchester Grand Hyatt. So it's on Thursday at 6:00. It's important to know that the doors open at 5:15 because it does usually reach capacity. So we do encourage people to get there a little early once the doors open. But yeah, it takes a whole team, and we're very proud of everyone.
Yeah, they do a great job. So one of the other highlights, besides seeing all of those creations, is seeing your creation or what someone creates for you to wear. Every year you have an incredible dress, sometimes made out of Legos, sometimes out of Funko Pops. How much are you involved in deciding what the dress will be and how it's designed?
So it's definitely a collaborative effort. I usually, really thinking back, I pretty much decide what the dress is going to be, and then I collaborate with. For the past couple of years, I've collaborated with Andrew Plank, who actually won our show the first year. He's insanely talented. He made my Lego gown, which was the first ever Lego couture gown that could actually walk. They obviously have beautiful Lego couture gowns that are statues or can't really walk the runway, but somehow Andrew and then Nathan Salea, this renowned Lego sculptor, they figured it out. And then last year, Funko Pops, the first ever Funko Pops couture gown. I will say this year I'm not breaking a record. It's more traditional fashion, but I have the most dresses I've ever had of any of the shows. So I have multiple changes and quick changes throughout the night. And the theme for this year's show is the power of fashion. So my gowns and also all of the designers' gowns are inspired by powerful characters, powerful stories, powerful themes, or powerful statements. So expect a lot of power on the runway.
Well, that sounds awesome. I'm jealous for everyone who's going to be there this year, being able to see all those different dresses. Are you going to come somewhere close to how many contestants there are? I mean, can you give us any other hints about what they may be?
Well, we have 24 contestants, and our rule for the show stays the same every year, in that the designs can be inspired by anything that's celebrated at Comic-Con. And as we all know, almost everything is celebrated at Comic-Con. So it usually runs the gamut. But we have traditional designs of very well-known characters, and then, some designs that you would not expect to be on a couture runway. Because the designers get really creative, and the thing I always like to point out is just how hard these designers have been working. They found out that they got into the show in April, and they have just been working for hundreds of hours. I mean, the detail that goes into each and every one of these designs, they're all hand stitched and hand painted and hand dyed. They literally work for hundreds of hours on these pieces. So it's a really great opportunity for the designers. That's what I always wanted for the show. The show isn't about her universe. It's about our community, and it's about these designers. And, several of them have gone on to completely change their careers and become, fashion designers, or some of them were up and coming designers, and now they're doing it full time. So I'm really, really proud of all the designers in the show.
And one of the cool things that you guys are doing this year to kind of celebrate those designers is at the Comic-Con Museum, there's going to be a Her Universe fashion exhibit for the first time. Is that something that you've been dreaming of, having kind of a museum exhibit?
Yeah, it's something that I've wanted to do for a while, and not realizing, that we have the opportunity with the Comic-Con Museum. But, it's kind of a shame that, as I mentioned, you have these designers that work for hundreds of hours on their pieces, and then all of a sudden the show's over, and, you don't always have a place to display them. And so I wanted a way to kind of curate and display some of the past designs, especially the past winners. And so I was thrilled when I was connected with the San Diego Comic-Con team, and they told us about, this kind of museum preview that they're putting together during Comic-Con. And they gave us the opportunity to do this Geek Couture exhibit. So over the past 5 years, we've pulled together a lot of the winners, some of the, the favorite looks, a couple of my past gowns, and they'll be on display the entire weekend. You can see them up close, you can see all the detail, and hear the backstory, from the designers. So it's going to be a really, really cool exhibit, and I encourage people to go over there. But also, just the museum in general, it's absolutely incredible what they're doing there. It'll just be a preview of what fans can expect, but already what they've told me and what they're working on is just incredible. I mean, you're going to have Comic-Con year round, pretty much on display. As a fan, I'm super excited.
Yeah, we had Adam, the director of the museum, on just a couple of days ago, and it sounds like they're just going all out for the museum and just making it like a definite destination you got to go to during Comic-Con.
Oh, definitely. It'll be one of the must-see events for sure. So we're honored to be a part of it. I mean, the Her Universe Fashion Show would not be possible without Comic-Con. We've done it hand in hand with them now from the beginning, and super grateful to be a part of the museum. So I highly recommend people take some time to go over to the museum.
All right. That's we definitely want people to check that out. So in other things that you're doing at the show, besides the fashion show, you have a booth on the floor. You actually have one for Her Universe, and then you're also a part of the Star Wars Pavilion. So Her Universe, you mentioned that you started back in 2010. What's it been like in the last roughly decade, seeing the fashion brand you started because there wasn't enough fangirl clothing and other things? What's it been like seeing the explosion of fangirl fashion in the last decade? And knowing that you had a small part in that, or even a big part, really.
Oh goodness. It's truly been amazing. I mean, it's been my goal to get to where we are today, and have that explosion. I mean, as selfishly as a fan, I want more options and more stuff made for me and other fangirls. So to see all the options and to see other companies like Her Universe, grow and exist. I love, sharing the story of, Hero Within, and Tony and his team. They were just fans at Comic-Con. They actually attended one of our panels one year, and they had the idea for their company, and the next year they were there as a company, and it's really exciting to see the explosion. To me, I love seeing it. There's only so much we can do with Her Universe. So to see so many options, and not just clothing, but everything from accessories to shoes to bags to jewelry. There's just been so much. So it's awesome. It's a really exciting time to be a fan.
It really is. And speaking of being a fan, everybody knows I'm a huge Star Wars fan, and I even have a little short segment we sometimes do on here called Star Wars Talk with James. Carrie actually even bought me a mug this year because Ed surprised me with a mug for that. But so I want to talk a little bit about Ahsoka Tano and the Clone Wars. And last year you had the 10th anniversary panel for Clone Wars. And at that panel, you guys announced that you're going to come back for one more season. Now, you already knew it was coming, but from your side, what was that moment when it was announced? What was that? I mean, it was really awesome and emotional from my side and everyone in the audience, but what was it like from your side being, up on stage and just having that moment happen there?
Oh gosh, were you there? Were you at the panel?
Yes, we were. We waited for like 5 hours in line, and we were like in the third or fourth row or something like that.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. It was so many emotions wrapped into one because, obviously we knew, and we were terrified of the secret leakage. We wanted it to be a surprise so bad. So there was a lot of nerves because somehow I feel like for the most part we were able to keep the secret. I think we really shocked a lot of people, which in today's day and age, with all the spoilers and the leaks, it's like nearly impossible to keep a secret. So, were you surprised, or had you heard a rumor?
I had not heard a thing.
Oh, see, that's awesome. And that's what most people said. Like, they were truly shocked. They really thought it was just going to be more of an anniversary panel. So, it was a lot of nerves going in, hoping that we could keep it a surprise. But then also, even for us, when the show was canceled, the show is so special to us. I mean, we're such a family. We're all so close. We're all so close to our characters. And when the show was canceled, it's almost like we put it in a protective place in our hearts and locked the key and became really protective of it because we're so, we love it so much and we're so connected to it. So when we found out it was coming back, I almost didn't believe it. It was almost too good to be true. And so it was like you didn't believe it until that moment. And then in that moment when it was announced, I started crying. I think we were all in disbelief. It was like, finally it's here. And so the same emotions you guys were feeling in the audience is really what we were feeling up on stage, because finally the cat was out of the bag and we could truly experience it. Because I think we were so scared before because it was so secretive. And then finally we could talk about it. So it was honestly, it's one of the top highlights of my entire life. Like, I feel like the roof blew off that place.
Yes, it was, like I said, it was amazing being in the room for that. And Dave Filoni did such an awesome job for 55 minutes of that panel, just going over the history and you guys all just talking about it and not giving any clue in the way you were talking about it until that moment. So well done to all of you.
Well, thanks. Well, like you said, a lot of credit goes to Dave Filoni. He kind of masterminds everything, and it's just an absolute privilege to work with him. It's incredible.
Well, there's also a few people commenting about how incredible the panel was in the comments on YouTube as well. So definitely a lot of people very happy with that panel last year. So I think one more thing I wanted to ask about was last year you published your book, It's Your Universe. And can you take a minute to tell us a bit about the message and why you wanted to write that book?
Yeah, it's something that I wasn't intending to write. I have been talking to Disney about publishing because of the Ahsoka book, actually. E.K. Johnston wrote the Ahsoka book, but I did the audiobook for it. And, for the longest time, they said that, female characters didn't really sell products. And so anytime there's an Ahsoka product, I will go above and beyond to try to help promote it because I want to prove that characters like Ahsoka and female characters can sell merchandise. And so, I kind of crashed E.K. Johnston's book tour. I asked her if I could go with her and, and help promote it. And I think it shocked a lot of people when Ahsoka was #1 on the New York Times bestselling list for, I think, 3 weeks in a row. And then it was in the top 10 for, I think, 12 weeks. And so I had a meeting with Disney afterwards, and, they were asking more about the fangirl market and potentially more books. And I was thinking fiction because of Ahsoka. And they were doing a series of books, nonfiction, on like inspirational books for women and girls. And so they asked me if I would write my story or autobiography, and that was very daunting because I don't feel that I've done enough to warrant a memoir or an autobiography. But I am a huge Disney nut. I love Disney. I'm very much a product of Disney. My dad was a Disney cast member. I grew up in Orlando, Florida. My mom used to take us to Disney all the time. And I also love Star Wars, and obviously, and so I told Disney, I said I don't really feel comfortable writing an autobiography. However, I will share my story if I can write it more as like an advice book on here's what I did, here's why I believed I could, and here's how you can do it too, and use examples from Disney movies and Star Wars movies and characters that inspired me and quotes. And so eventually they said yes. So that's what it is. It's an advice book and a guidebook in many ways. And it breaks making your dreams come true down in steps. So it starts with a dream and then a wish, then you believe, then you do, then you transform, and then you trust. And, to me, it's not just for women and girls. I think dreaming and wishing and these messages are for everyone. I also think it's for all ages. So I hope, and I've heard, even men and boys and have gotten lots of inspiration out of it too. Because to me, this world is for everyone. I've never wanted to say it's just for women and girls. It's not just for men and boys. It's for everyone to enjoy together. So it's been an absolute dream, pun intended, dream come true doing the book. And I actually just spent the day today at Disney World here in Orlando, Florida, speaking at a conference about it. And it's really it's been a fun journey.
Wow. And you're doing something all the way across the country the week before Comic-Con.
Yes. I think we all, as fans, when you see a fun opportunity, especially like Disney, it's, where, my mom always says you can sleep when you're old.
Yes.
And you got to take advantage of it.
Yeah, well, we're going to be the crazy ones too. The day before Comic-Con, we're going to go see Hugh Jackman down in San Diego as well. So you gotta take those opportunities.
Cool.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So we do have a couple of reader questions. Angela Wise asked, for those that aren't able to attend the fashion show, will we be able to see it on YouTube or somewhere else?
Yes. So we will have the show up on YouTube the following week. So stay tuned. We should have some highlights posted over the weekend during Comic-Con, and then the full show follows.
All right. And then Lauren Solemson asked, are you going to be doing autographs or meet and greets at either of your booths during the con?
So I definitely will. One thing I'm actually doing as we talk, we just announced that actually Rock Love Jewelry did a limited edition Ahsoka Tano ring.
Yes.
It's really, really cool looking. It's a beautiful ring.
Amazing,
Sterling silver. Oh yeah, it's literally like I squealed when I when I saw it. It's very universal for both men and women. It's in sizes 5 through 10. It's a gorgeous ring, and so it comes with an autograph certificate. So I'm signing those actually right now. So you can get those at the Horror Universe booth of the Rock Love booth. They also will be available online, but they won't be available on our website right away because I am still finding the cards. So as soon as they get the cards for me, then they'll be up online. But I will be doing some meet and greet at our For Universe booth and also at the Disney Book booth on Saturday. So stay tuned for those times. We don't have this set yet, but
Okay.
I will be around throughout the weekend.
All right. And then one final thing, because I have like a bunch of stuff from Galaxy's Edge behind me, which you can't see, but what did you think of Galaxy's Edge? Because we've been multiple times since it opened, and it's just a great place to go.
Oh my gosh, I am moving to the two, and I'm it is a joke, but I'm really kind of serious. I love it so much. I got to go actually a couple times before it opened, but you couldn't experience everything before it was open. And I've only been one time since it opened, and it wasn't enough. Like, I am making a whole checklist of things that I just cannot wait to go back and do and go back and buy and go back and try. I just love how immersive it is. The merchandise is incredible. I didn't get to try all the food, but the food I got to try was good. I really can't say enough great things. And I did get to walk through the queue of Rise of the Resistance, and that ride is going to be mind-blowing. So I can't wait for that as well.
And they just announced it's not opening till January. Such a long wait.
Yeah, but you can come to Orlando, and it opens up beginning of December.
Oh, no, we can't go there. I live 6 minutes from Disneyland. I can only go to Disney World every once in a while. Actually, I've never actually been to Disney World yet. I'm going to make it a big trip when we finally do end up going.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. I think I was a Disney tour guide in a past life. I love it so much. But I love Disneyland as well. They both are so different. It's like you can't really compare them.
Right.
And I love that they each have their own charm.
Exactly. Which is why we need to go to the other one. We need to go to all of them.
Yes. Me too. I haven't been to Shanghai, Hong Kong, or Disneyland, Paris. So 3 more I want to go to.
All right. Yeah, then we got to get to all those. Thank you so much for spending some time with us tonight, Ashley. We really appreciate it.
Yes, we do.
Oh,
Thank you, Ashley.
I really appreciate it. No, thank you guys. Thank you for chatting. Thank you everyone who's listening. And I really hope you'll come check out the fashion show. And really, check out the designers that have worked so hard on their designs. And best of luck at Comic-Con. I can't believe it's here.
Yeah, right. But let everyone know, for those who, for some reason, might not know, where they can find you online.
You can find us online at heruniverse.com and on Instagram at heruniverse. Personally, I'm on Instagram just at Ashley Eckstein, or Facebook Her Universe, and Twitter at Her Universe. So Her Universe, pretty much anywhere you go.
All right. Well, again, thank you so much, and we hope to see you at Comic-Con at least once, and all the various things. And good luck at the show.
Awesome. Thank you. Safe travels, and I'll see you next week.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay.
Well, that was fun. Yeah.
We had a little bit of audio problems, but I think we muscled through.
That's right. We made it work.
We did. Okay, so it's only been 2 days since our last podcast, so we don't have a Everest-sized mountain of news, but we do have a lot of news. So let's get started on that. First off, as usual, we have the autograph and signing schedule that we're compiling every day and getting up onto the one page for you. You can just go to the site and check that out. That will be available for you to see all of the things that you may not know are happening at the con involving autographs.
Yeah, and we've had a whole bunch of autographs announced here basically today, including Marvel, which they're going to be doing an Avengers Endgame signing, but they didn't list any talent, and a Warner Brothers TV. They listed their times. So.
All right, and then what else do we have news-wise?
If you are interested in getting a commission at the convention, we have our list of all the artists who are accepting commissions, which is quite a few of them, and you can check that out on our site.
And then the second half, or as you put it, the other 90% of the Hall H news dropped.
That's right, the other 90%, yeah.
So they announced the times and also where the new next day line was going to be located, and it is behind the convention center, closer to the Hall A side, over there on the marina. And I mean, basically, we're assuming they moved it to kind of separate it and segregate it more from some of the other things going on, so it's not as confusing where lines are.
I'm like, they didn't move it that far. Like, why did they not just announce, like, whatever it was, like 2 days ago? Like,
I don't know. But they also announced the times.
Makes no sense to me. Yes, they
So
did.
the wristbands, the only one that's going to be significantly different, I think, is the Wednesday night for Thursday panels. They're just going to start, isn't it? They're just going to start handing it out in line in the tents, right?
Yeah, but that was literally exactly what they did last year.
Oh, it is? Oh, okay. I thought they were still doing the next day line for those. Okay. It tells you how often I wait in the Wednesday night line, right?
Well, the only reason I know is because I went and I copied and pasted a little bit from the 2018 post and then just changed the times. So
there you go. And then the times are all over the place for the other days. Like they're 6:15, 8:30, 9 o'clock, something like that. But basically, if you're wondering why, it's because they wait until panels are done in Hall H that night before they start doing things for the next day line. And the usual thing applies, that we already covered all that about, you have to be there before they get you with the wristbands and all the wristband information. And then you have to be back before 7:30 in the morning if you leave the line, all that stuff. You can watch the podcast 2 days ago to hear all that talk, or go read the article, because it's all in the post.
So, James, thank you so much for giving me this next article. But TBS is going to be bringing Snowpiercer bug bars, just like in the movie. Gross, but you can go get them at the booth. They will be cricket powder. You enjoy that? It will not be.
They're supposedly going to have like vending machines throughout the con where you can get them.
Yeah, well, I think it's at least like at their booth. I don't know if about throughout the convention, but it's still weird. I don't want one. If you do, good for you.
Yeah,
you enjoy. I'll be getting my free chocolate elsewhere.
Yes, exactly. So, what do we have next here? Well, we had a question, right? Oh, let's mention that we did. Carrie put together a post for what happens now that the exclusives portal, everyone's been picked or not picked. What happens next? And there's a great article that she wrote about if you win, here's where you go, here's how you handle it, here's your limitations, and then if you didn't win, here's your chances maybe for some booths to actually get the item still, and other things you can do about that. And you should go read that because it's a nice guide. It's a very good guide.
And again, honestly, if you didn't get what you wanted, the autographs, you're pretty much SOL. The Lego sets, you're pretty much SOL. Anything else, like there are ways of doing it without eBay. So Yeah, so if you wanted Hasbro or even Funko, because I mean 95% of those are shared. Yeah, don't lose hope. Just go and actually read the article.
There you go. And then we have you want to answer that question or?
Yeah, I will. Real quick, the other thing that we announced today, kind of relating to this, is for the Lego minifig, they will only have 3 this year. It'll be Thursday, Friday, Saturday, no Sunday, and it's still TBA on the exact process. My guess is still the pre-2018 method, but maybe they've moved the line. To be determined. Pac-Man asked, I found out that the Impractical Jokers are having a panel in the Horton Grand. Do I need a ticket for that panel? Yes, you do. Everything in the Horton Grand requires a ticket. They will do a drawing at 9 a.m. You need to be in the Horton Grand before 9 a.m. And then you get to draw a ticket for whatever you want to attend. If you win, you get tickets for 2.
There you go. And
Jeremy Wine said, I want a signing, but there is no time. Is there a reason they're not telling folks till the morning of? Really throwing a wrench into my Saturday planning. If you won Warner Brothers, we did actually post those today. If you won Fox has literally never posted the signing times until the morning of. And it's basically to cut down, I think, on people swarming the booth.
yeah.
Looking loose for the autographs is, I think, mostly why they do it. So it's just nothing new. It's not going to change. It is what it is.
Yeah. So some of them, we will post them if we know them on the site. If we don't know them, then yeah, it's morning of. You'll find out.
And I'm pretty sure Warner Brothers did not announce the times last year. So actually, I was very surprised when we got them at all this year. So yay. Let's be happy we got that.
And also, you can generally try and figure out when the autographs are based on maybe some other things are happening at the booth, or what time the panels are for that group. You can kind of make an educated guess. If it's right in the middle of the day for the panel, you're kind of out of luck because it could either be before or after. But you can sometimes kind of figure out when they're going to be.
Yeah, kind of.
Kim asked, could someone please tell me if all the exclusive booths are credit card only? I honestly don't know because I've only ever managed to get 2 of them, the Lego and the Hasbro, and I just paid with a credit card. I didn't even ask if they took cash, but I'm assuming that some do.
I mean, I think of the main booths, they probably do. However, you should never assume that everyone on the floor accepts credit cards, and you never know what's going to happen. I mean, even if you call your bank, sometimes they'll still put a hold on your card, which is not what you want after you've been, lining up for an hour or 2 at a booth. Sometimes, cell service is bad and their credit card readers don't work. So good rule of thumb is, quite frankly, always to have cash on you at Comic-Con. Cash is king. Literally only at Comic-Con, not the real world, but it is at Comic-Con. So.
Yep. And then, do you want to handle that other one?
Sure. So Mr. Applesauce721 asks, I just want to know about Fun Days. Has anyone gotten in off the wait list? Yes, they have. We actually heard from someone today who got off the wait list. So it is possible. Is it likely? No. But people, at least one person has gotten in off the wait list.
There you go. We know at least one person has gotten in.
Yeah. And it was like a friend of someone we actually know. So we're very certain that they actually made it in.
And just to be clear, this is an actual wait list because the tickets were sold out. And now if tickets are returned or for whatever reason, if they have extras, they will start pulling people in off the wait list. Whereas the Conan and Scare Diego wait lists are just what they call, you're waiting for us to do the sorting and then give the tickets out. They did not sell out in advance and then get on a wait list. Everything's gone straight to wait list for ones like that.
So real quick in the chat, Iron Salt says NECA is usually cash only, so just FYI. And then John Kibb said, has anyone heard anyone getting into any Conan, Scare Diego, or any other waitlist? So the way that Conan and Scare Diego both work is that you are immediately waitlisted.
Yeah.
No one immediately gets a confirmation, and then a day or 2 or 3 or whatever later, basically they start sending out confirmations.
And
I think Conan is, if it's not done yet, it's mostly done. And I suspect probably the same for Scare Diego.
Yeah. Because they did Scare Diego over 2 days, yesterday and today.
Yes.
And so they probably did yesterday, and then when they got all the responses, or when they figured out how many they might have had, then yeah, they probably sent out some more today. All right, so that. Go ahead.
Kim M said that the Lego exclusive tickets is credit card only. So have a credit card and cash.
There you go. Enough for everything in both. Just what we want to do is have to have more money laying around and waiting to spend.
Totally.
So that was a lot of the major news. Any other big news, obviously, just check out the site. We have so much stuff.
Hundreds of articles this week alone.
Yes.
Do you want me to take this next one?
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on to offsites, the FYE for your entertainment pop-up is back in the Horton Plaza, which is a little bit weird because there's nothing in Horton Plaza except this pop-up shop right now. But it's open literally right now. It opened its doors today, and it will be open through Monday, July 22nd. So it will be open a day after the convention. And they have a ton of stuff. Like, good gosh, if you go and you look, I mean, there's probably like 100 photos in that post, which is all the different merch they have. They've got convention exclusives. They're going to have signings, including like with the director of Child's Play. They've got characters stopping by. Like, it's a whole thing. And if you're in town early, like, this is a cool thing to stop by and extend your convention experience.
And we got more details about the Fox Fanfare that's going to be across the street from the Children's Museum. They're going to have a 70-foot Ferris wheel, which I am going to.
Already up.
I'm going to rebrand to Mr. Robot so Carrie can go ride it. I will just put a sticker on it and say, like, okay, it's Mr. Robot. There you go.
That's still like the most disappointing thing ever, because for anyone who doesn't know, so basically Mr. Robot did a Ferris wheel at South by Southwest, and I kept hoping, like, oh my god, like maybe they'll do this again at Comic-Con. So cut to July, all of a sudden in Petco Interactive Zone, a Ferris wheel is going up, and it's red, and we're all like, oh my god, like this is happening, we're getting a Mr. Robot Ferris wheel. No, the Ferris wheel was literally for nothing. It was literally like a carnival company was like, let's just put up a Ferris wheel and charge people $2 to ride. Like, it wasn't even branded. It was
they're like a clown on it. It's like
yes. So fail. But you can go ride you can go ride the Fox Ferris wheel for free.
There you go. And
it's better than the Petco one.
Yeah, amusement rides and carnival games themed to all of their Fox animation shows, including the new one, Bless the Hearts. So they got a ton of stuff there to do. So that is, and it's all free.
Yep. Again, unlike that weird Petco thing. Nerdist is doing something this year. They're taking over Sparks Gallery for Borderlands Museum of Mayhem, which there'll be like a cosplay contest. They're going to have never before seen artwork, fan art. They'll even have a barber who is buzzing the vault symbol basically into your hair, which is weird. But they'll have a cash bar and a gift shop as well, so you can stop by there Friday, Saturday, or Sunday.
And Crunchyroll is also taking over location. They're taking over Flux during the day for games and photos and such. It's a nightclub, so during the day, this is just going to be a bunch of Crunchyroll stuff, but at night is when all those parties are happening, and so that'll be a different ticket that you'll need. So if you want something to do during the day, head over to Flux. There's be random pin giveaways. Basically, you'll get some cool stuff. So there you go. Where is Flux? Flux is, let me see here if we have the address. Do we? I'm looking.
Sure, it's on that.
It's in there. But yeah, it's not that far away.
So you can Google it. Don't be that lazy. As Jermaine Lucier revealed on our podcast a couple weeks ago, the movie Freaks is having a screening at Comic-Con this year. Collider is helping to host it. And if you want to attend, you have between now and Monday to email Collider, basically saying that you would like to attend and if you have a +1, and then they will email the winners with more information about the screening. So the stars will not be there, but the 2 directors will be, so you'll get to hear them talk about the film. So that's cool. And then just in general, we have all kinds of other stuff on our offsite calendar. Like we added a Good Place meetup, which I would not be surprised at all if Cash shows up to that because they did last year. And then, of course, we just added the greatest party of all at Comic-Con this year.
So the reason why we're talking about it now is because No Way Jose asked, can we expect any more party RSVPs or events? Absolutely, because this one we are waiting for IMDb to release the info on how to get into the bacon party. They are teaming up with Wendy's to celebrate, bacon. Basically. It's like, it's on a burger and stuff like that, but who cares? They're celebrating bacon.
We're celebrating bacon. They will have like other bacon themed treats. Like you get the Wendy's Baconator, and we should add you are on the IMDb boat.
Yes.
While you eat your Wendy's Baconator. So this is the first time that IMDb has done a fan party. Like pretty much always their parties are closed. In fact, it's funny. IMDb actually emailed this to me this morning and I was like, oh, your stuff's always closed. I don't care. And then I randomly opened the email again a couple hours later and I was like, oh, this one is not. So good times.
So now everybody is very excited to find out when they can have bacon.
Yeah, as we should be. So if you want to attend that, the instructions were a little bit vague, but basically you have to follow IMDb on Twitter, and they will be posting more information. So, yay, bacon.
They're using bacon to get followers. That is cool.
That's fine. I just love, I think myself and many others were feeling the void left by Taco Bell and KFC. Like we needed some wacky, weird fast food thing at Comic-Con this year, and Wendy's is here to win our love.
They're here to save the day.
Yeah.
All right. So as Carrie mentioned, there are a ton of other offsites on our calendar. Peanuts pop-up, Farscape party, Rick and Morty Night at Spin nightclub, just so many things, and always things getting added. But let's move on.
Hold on. Let's not move on because Trope Force said Dawson's Tears. So let's mention that our party has some awesome cocktails this year. Yeah, so PaceyCon, which is our Sunday night, the only party after Comic-Con, the only after party after Comic-Con, we'll be at the Dubliner 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. and we have some fun themed cocktails, including like the Pacey Witter, which is basically Jack and Coke served with, I think it's a healthy dose of low self-esteem. And then Dawson's Tears and some other really fun drinks. So you can stop by and enjoy those. And kudos to the Dubliner we came up with the names and we came up with most of like the actual drinks, but they definitely wrote like the fun little descriptions. So kudos to the Dubliner.
Absolutely. Okay, on to exclusives. Carrie mentioned that the Lego minifigures, there will only be 3 of them. But the one that was just announced yesterday was Barb from Stranger Things will have a Lego minifig, which is pretty awesome.
She's the last of their minifigs.
The last of the ones to be announced, yes. So good luck for those who will be attempting it. And no, we do not have information on where that will happen. That has not been announced.
All they've said is that it's a random instant win, which to me, again, sounds like the pre-2018 system. I think if anything has changed, it will likely just be the location. But to be determined, I'm hoping Monday and not Wednesday at 7 p.m.
Yes, that'd be great.
Image Comics, they have a couple of exclusives coming. They also have some signings that we posted today, but they've got like some Spawn exclusives, which is pretty cool. They've got a couple of other variants, like there's a Sea of Stars #1 by Jason Aaron. They've got a whole bunch of stuff. And honestly, if you want to say any exclusives on our site, just go click on the exclusives tab. There's hundreds upon hundreds.
Yeah. So I wanted to talk about Mondo. And the reason I want to talk about Mondo is because they have some awesome stuff coming, including this Bruce the Shark Don't Go in the Water variant, tiki mug, which I understand that there are straws, but this looks like it'd be a little dangerous to drink out of.
I think it looks great.
And then they have this Jurassic Park poster, and the one that has me drooling is this Transformers movie poster. This is awesome. I got to figure out how to get that. The Sandlot, some Snoopy stuff. What else do they have? That's new. This 100% soft alien poster. I mean, this incredible Blade Runner poster. I mean, look at all this. This Jim Lee, Batman.
I mean, I think we still have 3 more to go.
Yeah, Captain America and the Golden Age of Comics, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Thanos.
And that's it.
That's
an
amazing array of stuff.
It is. And one thing we should mention is Mondo is actually doing it different this year. So the way that it's worked for the last, as far back as I can really remember, is basically they usually do like timed drops. So sometimes they'll announce that time. Sometimes they'll just tweet out like, hey, this is happening now, come to our booth. What they're doing this year is, unless there is a signing attached to it, in which case it's different, but unless that's happening, the posters will be available first thing in the morning. All of them, again, unless there's a signing, which a couple of them do have a signing involved.
So,
and if there's a signing, it will just be the time of the signing.
And the poster is available as soon as the signing starts, essentially.
Yeah.
That's awesome. But someone asked, does Mondo have these posters online during the con? Not the ones available at the con. They will have a variant or the regular edition, depending on what's going on, but they will have another version of the poster online during the con as well.
Yeah, and every once in a while, if they don't sell out of a poster, which does happen occasionally, they will put those up online after the convention. But for the most part, yeah, it's usually a variant online. So one of the other cool things that got announced this week is Truck Torrance's. He's 100% soft. He is doing 4 really cool The Avengers posters in his fun little Hawaii style, which he did in collaboration with Ray, whatever it is. I know this, I'm just so freaking tired. But basically, he's got 4 different versions. One will be available each day, and there's one for each of the Avengers movies. So there's Marvel's The Avengers, there's Avengers Age of Ultron, there's Avengers Infinity War, there's Avengers Endgame. They all look freaking awesome. They'll be $50 each, and they are limited to 150 pieces each.
So also something that you're going to want to snag early, probably. And then our good buddy Patrick Ballesteros has just a couple more new things and a release schedule, correct?
Yep. Yes, for the 25-cent wonders, we do not yet have the release schedule for the minis, and I think I don't know if we're waiting on a schedule for the Can You Hear Me Nows or not, but at least for the minis we are.
Right. Because he's got what, 150, 100?
100 of the minis, yeah. So I think he's doing 20 a day.
Right. Yeah. And then, did we have anything new from BBC America in the last 2 days? Because I know we dropped a ton of stuff all at once.
No, I don't think we had anything new for them.
But Marvel.
Well, I say that we did add. I added those temporary tattoos. That's it.
But Marvel did add some. They actually added a couple of shirts, including America's Ass T-shirt, which is incredible. And I think that was about it, right? So you can,
well, they added a photo of one of the Spirit jerseys that was not there previously.
okay.
So
All right. Well, there you go. There's a few things added to Marvel. And obviously that is only like the surface of the entire ocean of exclusives that are coming out. I mean, so many booths are having little exclusives, giveaways, just so much stuff.
so much stuff.
So just go to the site, click on the exclusives menu, and enjoy your 3 to 10 hours spent looking through them all.
Yeah, if you have not started yet looking at them, you might be in trouble. Just saying. I mean, I know you've got like a weekend left, but you might be in trouble.
Yeah. Robert just asked, how does Marvel exclusives work? Is it walk up to the booth? Technically, that's how it works. It's more like try and get near the booth and then try and get in line, but it's...
Yeah, so basically what they'll do is once the line fills up, which it fills up very early, they will cap it. And then you just kind of have to keep coming back or circling, but without them noticing you're circling them until eventually they will open it back up to let a couple more people in.
Right. So right time, right place, or try and get there first thing in the morning.
Yep.
Is essentially it. Did we have any other questions? Headless Ned Stark asked about Loungefly. How early do you need to line up at that booth? Unknown, because I've never done Loungefly, so I have no idea how bad their booth is.
I haven't either. I mean, I know that they had exclusives last year, and they're part of Funko as of, I believe, last year. So I know that it's like a little bit of a bigger thing. I don't feel like it's that bad, but I don't want to steer you wrong. So
I'm sure some things are going to be well sought after. So maybe just make sure you're in the line that goes in the morning. There's
I do want to.
It's really, it's so hard to tell with so many booths offering so many different exclusives that who knows who's going to make the decision that day to make that their first stop. So it's really hard to tell, you know, what order that is on someone's list and how many people have it first.
Yeah. I mean, let's answer this question. Jeremy Wine asked, what things are you two most excited about at the moment, personally? James, what are you most excited about?
Let's see. I think one of the top things is the Pennyworth offsite. I think I have no idea what that's going to be, but I'm really excited, and I hope it doesn't let me down, that it's at least going to be interesting and fun.
I'm so jealous. I just don't have time to do it, but it sounds like Sleep No More, which if you ever get the chance to go do that in New York is like one of the coolest things you'll ever do. So I hope you have an amazing time. But it looks freaking awesome. So that is an excellent choice. Honestly, for me personally, I am excited for the Magicians, and I am excited to go and get all of the commissions that I have done. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
Well, he asked for is it just the most excited? Yeah, the most excited. I thought maybe we had to have two things, but I don't know if I could
just
come up with a
did
second.
two.
I mean, I'd be really excited for the Marvel panel if I thought I was going to be able to get in, which we shall see. But other than that, no. I mean, there's some panels that I'm really looking forward to. There's a few offsites I'm hoping are going to be cool, but yeah, I think the Pennyworth is probably the thing that's standing out the most. I'm looking forward to Watchmen too. The Watchmen offsite. I want to see what that's like. So
I'm really happy because I feel like even just a week ago, you know, the story was kind of like the offsites are like really letting us down this year. But I feel like in the last week, like we've had so much good stuff announced. We had Pennyworth, we had that Watchmen thing, we had today Wendy's and bacon.
Right?
Like, come on. We haven't even talked about it, but the Gundam and the Dragon Ball stuff sound pretty cool. We're fans of that. Nerdist is doing that thing. So a whole bunch of good stuff I feel like has actually gotten announced here in the last week. So that's good. Yeah.
I did want to mention that one of the key things, and I don't have any time for it, but I'm going to try and see if I can figure out a time to get over there, is the Ferris wheel. Unlike the one that was over in Petco, this one looks like it might be in a nice spot to be able to get up 70 feet up above and get some incredible views of the convention center and the gas lamp area. And I'm thinking maybe I'm going to try and get over there and get some photos when I get up to the top there and get some interesting and different photos of the con that we normally can't get. But we shall see. Everyone else go do that so that there's plenty of photos from up there.
Okay, well, I think that about does it. I mean, again, there's so much news. I mean, I know we're only at like an hour, but we just did this on Wednesday.
Right. Yeah, we did.
So there's still quite a bit, honestly, to be announced, which is both terrifying and depressing. There'll be a ton more news here in the next couple days. Like, I know we're still waiting on DC signings. We're still waiting on a whole bunch of other signings. We're waiting on Lego procedures, WB bags. There's just still going to be so much, even though we are very close to Comic-Con.
Very close. It is 5 days away. 5.
Yeah. Crazy.
Is Netflix having, someone asked real quick, Trope Force asked, is there anything about a Netflix offsite? Are there any Netflix offsites?
No, nothing's been announced. They didn't do one last year. Well, they did that weird branding at the trolley station. I'm not counting that. I sincerely doubt there will be, but honestly, who knows? Like, again, we've had some really cool stuff announced here in literally just like the last 3 days. So who knows what tomorrow or Monday or Tuesday will bring.
Let's not make it Tuesday. All the PR people who may be listening, let's not make it Tuesday. Let's try and make it Monday.
Please.
At the latest. Please.
Please. Yeah.
All right. Now that we've begged, if you still need a badge 5 days away, good luck to you. But there actually is a chance because radio stations are giving away some tickets and such. We have a contest hub. You can check it out on the site.
Yep. I'd also like to mention that if you're a big art person, again, we've got our commissions list open, and you should do that. I mean, again, there are people, like, you don't have to pay $200, though there are people who are definitely worth $200+ on that list. But yeah, art's cool.
Yeah.
I'm tired. That's what I got for you.
Yeah. All right. So we will probably be keeping up Attendee of the Week at some point after the convention once we recover. So if you wish to be considered for Attendee of the Week, we did our last one before the con today, but we will pick it up again and do them every 2 weeks or so after the convention until we run out, if we ever do. So check out the Attendee of the Week post on the site.
Prize Mule returns next week. You will find us literally all over the convention giving away all kinds of amazing things from companies like Hasbro, Toddland, Hallmark, Entertainment Earth, Factory Entertainment, Yesterdays. The list goes on and on. And in fact, I probably need to tweet that again. So you can find the list on our Twitter here in about probably 10 minutes. PACECon also returns. Again, that is 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Sunday night at the Dubliner. And we are going to be basically the only thing to do on Sunday night anyway. Sad to report that HBO sent out the wrong hours for Watchmen, and on Sunday it will actually close at 6 p.m., not 8 p.m.
Still
so
later.
We are officially,
still later than any other offsite.
Yeah, still later than literally any other offsite, but once 6 p.m. hits, head on over to us. So
there you
just
go.
FYI.
There you go. So this is finally the final podcast until San Diego Comic-Con 2019. We will be back for one final episode of the 2019 season on Wednesday, the 24th, to do our wrap-up show. So you can listen to us mumble incoherently about all of the things we loved and maybe a few of the things that we did not love about the show, if there are any. So join us then, the 24th. We hope to see you at the show, and we'll see you in a week and a half on the next podcast.
That's right. When Comic-Con is over. That's crazy to think. Good God. You can sign up for our newsletter, even though, I mean, we're not, well, we might send one out on Tuesday. I think Sarah said we were. So you can sign up for our very last one. The link is on the sidebar of our site. And no way, Jose said good luck to you guys. Can't wait for SDCC cups. I did actually pack the cups. So it will happen somewhere at some point.
At some point. Hint, it'll probably be near the Omni.
Yeah, you and I need to coordinate this when this podcast ends, James.
All right. So, Harry, where could we possibly find more of your work on the internet?
I mean, there's a site you could go to where, like, I kind of write some stuff occasionally. You can also, find me on our Twitter. Off season, you can find me at my Twitter at Carrie Dixon. James, where can we find more of your work on the internet?
I am everywhere on the internet at Dan Regal, and you can check out geekshotphoto.com for photography links from my wife and I and our social media handles and all that. And thank you to Beth, our producer. She'll be editing the show. We gave her the night off and said no slides because honestly, I had no time to get her the information on which slides we needed.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Yeah. But all the other things that get this podcast done, thank you to Beth.
Yes, thank you so much, Beth. We are on iTunes. If you'd like to subscribe, the links are up on the blog, or you can search for SDConCast. If you like what you've heard so far, please review us. We're also on Stitcher Radio. The link is in the show notes. We are also on Patreon. One of these days I'm going to figure out how to say that word. But basically, if you think that we have provided value to your Comic-Con experience, you can throw $1, $5, whatever you can spare away to cover our hosting costs, basically.
Yep. It's all explained on the Patreon. So
yes.
If you want to get a hold of us, you can send us an email at sdcomiccon.blog@gmail.com. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/sdconblog, or tweet us at sd_comic_con. Thank you all for watching and listening. Thank you to Ashley Eckstein for coming on the show. And everybody, go. Almost over.